Good evening, everyone, and welcome to race 3 of the second FAI Virtual Sailplane Grand Prix. I am today with Lorenzo Cucci from Italy. Good evening, Lorenzo.
Good evening, everyone.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Great. So we are in Italy in Pavullo for race 3. Tonight is going to be a great race. We are going to present the race in a few minutes and the task of the day with the weather on the day and so on. Before following the pilots, who will be ready to cross the start line in about 20 minutes from now. I suggest that we have a look at the interview we've done post-race yesterday with Wojtek Soltyzik from Poland in a few moments. So interview with Wojtek from yesterday. Good evening. Congratulations for your victory today. How does it feel to take the top spot in this challenging race tonight?
It was really good race for me because yesterday I was really disappointed because I was just behind the points, made small mistake, just chose the wrong thermal, the last thermal, so I was quite disappointed. And today I just wanted to fly, just my flight, stay focused in every turn point, in every thermal, and made my decisions which were crucial for winning the race. So I'm quite happy and try to stay calm till tomorrow.
I couldn't hear anything, Tim.
Okay.
I don't know if you can all hear me, but I cannot hear anything. I don't know why, but let's continue through it. We will cut anyway the video, so it's no
Okay.
big deal.
And
Wojtek, what was your strategy tonight? Because we've seen you at just behind the leading pack tonight. You were just behind, a little bit higher when you were crossing the mountains between turn point 3 and turn point 4. We've seen you there. Before you were leading with Witold Rozak the race, and then you were a little bit behind the pack. Was it a strategy to be a little bit behind, a little bit higher tonight to try to get the advantage at the end of the race?
Yes, I tried the first half of the task stay as close as I could to the leading pack, to the Witold, and try to just pick up the right lines. Of course, Witold is one of the best pilots in Condor, so he will not be wrong. And as always, I made my own decisions somewhere in the middle of the task, and I decided to, I think before the third time point, I decided I need to be really high to cross the valley and to make it to the next turn point. So that was my strategy, and the last long leg was the most important. I was really low like all the guys in front, and they decided just to go left, and I decided to go to check the new thermal, new cloud on the right, and it was wrong. The thermal was really weak. I made few turns and it was nothing. So I decided to fly to another clouds, and there were some cumuluses one behind another. So I knew that if I will not pick up the first one, the second could be good and the third could be also good. So I just tried to find the best thermal, and it worked. The thermal was like 3.5 or maybe quite close to 4. So I made the final glide in the last thermal, and it was a good decision.
Thank you, Wojtek, for your answer. And last question for tonight for you. How will you manage it now? This kind of leading title that you have on your shoulders, because you've shown to the other pilots that you were ready to race in a world final. You've been flying Condor for only a few years now, but you can really do a really good job during a world final. So they all know it now. You've won one qualifier already in Virtual Sailplane Grand Prix. Very good flying, always very focused, flying with your virtual reality headset and so on. So how do you manage the pressure from now on until the end of the event?
I just try to stay calm every time I fly. I even I don't know if you saw, but on my stream I just got the heart rate to check it after the flight. How is my heart rate during the flight? So I think I'm quite calm. Even on the last two turn points, I was really calm. Try to stay really focused, and that's the plan for the next races, because that's the only second race and there are a lot of points to earn. So fly my decision, made my decisions, fly my way. Of course, stay with the Polish pack. We have five Polish pilots, so that's really good to not fly alone. So I think it helps us a lot.
That's great to hear. Indeed, the Polish pack is quite a good group to follow during the races for us. And yeah, we could witness that. Indeed, your BPM were quite low until the end of the race. You could manage the pressure, and we wish you the very best for the end of this second FAI Virtual Sailplane Grand Prix. Thank you very much for your interview tonight, post-race interview with you, Wojtek, winner of race 2. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good night and see you tomorrow.
Thank you. Welcome back in the studio with Lorenzo. Just so you know, so Lorenzo is from Italy, flying Condor quite regularly. It's his first time tonight with us on the commentary side. So maybe you can say a few more words for the viewers who don't know you, Lorenzo. You're flying with Condor Italia, right?
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. I fly on Condor from a lot of time, and we try to bring some races also in Italy. And there's not so much people like in rest of Europe, but we are enjoying it a lot. And I love the Sailplane Grand Prix races. I've flown in the past, and hope to fly next year.
Great. And where are you from in Italy?
I'm from northern Italy, like near Milan.
Okay, near Milano. That's a great area to race as well with Varese,
Yeah.
just pretty close from Milano. So that's pretty cool. And you usually fly in Condor on the well, close to Varese, or sometimes you go in the Apennine like today, close to Pavullo.
On Condor everywhere.
Okay.
In real life, I don't fly, so when I go with friends in Varese mostly.
Okay, great. So if you're joining us right now, we are at race 3 of the second virtual Sailplane Grand Prix. We're going to have Chris also from the Condor developing team later on during the race, and you will be able to ask him some questions. You can ask questions on Facebook or just during the live streamings. We will have them ready for him. And Lorenzo is here as well to ask him some questions, I'm sure, because he knows Condor pretty well as well. Let's have a look at where we are now. The race should start in about 17 minutes from now, approximately. The pilots are just next to the start line that we can see behind, and Arne Martin Guttler is here. Maybe we can have a look first at yesterday's results to see who's won the race. You know that with Wojtek, but the podium from yesterday, and then have a look at the overall results. Yesterday, Wojtek Soltyzik on his 1-2-3 flying at 145 kph, 10 points. Witold Rozak from Poland as well with 8 points. Sean Churchill completes the podium. Then on the overall score, it's pretty tight with Tim Kihlström-Madsen leading the championship with 11 points. Wojtek 10 points, Jarmo 9 points, same for Witold. Vic and Spisek with 8 points, David Redman with 7 points. That's pretty tight between all of them. The level is very homogeneous between those pilots. They are all very top pilots tonight. So and during the race week that we have. So as you can see, I think there will not be any 0-point club, as we call them. Meaning I think all the pilots at the end of the week will get some points because they all have more or less the same level, and it's very difficult, I believe, to be consistent throughout all the races this week. So it's going to be very interesting to follow. Maybe the ones who didn't score yet a point will be among the top 10 today. I'm hoping that. so that we can keep a close overall score in between the pilots and have the show until the last race of the second FAI Virtual Sailplane Grand Prix. Thank you, team, for the score. I hope you've had enough time, everyone, to have a look at the results. You can find them as well on our website. If you click on Virtual SGP on the website, just scroll down a few bits and you will find the results from every single race. Back in the live streaming with Arne Martin, maybe we can have a look at the task of the day. Lorenzo, were you able to find the task of the day already on Condor.club?
Yeah, sure. I have it here.
Okay, great. So how many kilometers today for the task?
It's 277 kilometers.
Exactly.
Quite a long task developing to the south, and some ridges to do maybe on the second leg and third one. Then it's mostly flatlands and some hills in the end of the task.
Exactly. That's we have a little bit of flatlands to start the race. Then indeed the ridges that not the same one as we've seen yesterday. It's really on the southeast here that we are going today. It's the first time we're going there, so it's going to be very interesting. We're going to fly very close to Firenze and the Firenze area here in Italy. So it's going to be interesting for all of you. And the weather is pretty good today. Quite variable, but pretty good. Very developing cumuluses. So you will see they are quite big. The inversion height is quite high as well. And for this task of 277 kilometers, we believe that they will fly quite fast. It's more or less the same arrival as yesterday, same reporting point. We've had some discussions around that at the end of the day a few hours ago, because we were not sure what we wanted to do, because today the wind is coming from the other direction. Yesterday it was from the southeast, and today it's from the northwest, the wind. So we're not going to be on the same side of the ridges that we were yesterday. So it's a bit different, and the pilots need to adapt with the weather today. So that's the 2D view that we have with Firenze, Pisa. Maybe you can present the cities that are around here.
Yeah,
You can zoom out, Timothée.
there's a big city near the third turn point, which is Florence, Firenze. And while to the second leg, there's not so much big city around there. They're mostly near the sea, so it's quite a free space with a lot of agriculture and hills, so not so much cities there.
Great. So as you can see, Pavullo is actually right in the middle of that of Italy, in the Apennine Mountains. Here, you have Genoa, just on the top left of the screen. Genova is very close to the French border, and then you can go down. We went to Carrare yesterday with all the marble that they have here. There is Pisa that is quite close from Firenze. It's the alternate airport for Firenze for all the airlines. If you go to Firenze, because it's a very short runway for the airliners. So quite often they have to land in Pisa instead of Firenze. Very interesting airport for all the pilots. I'm sure you know it as well, Lorenzo. Interesting airport, and yeah, I think we will see it from maybe 20-30 kilometers away from the race will be Firenze and Firenze Airport. So we should see it on the screen after turn point 2, between turn point 2 and turn point 3. Great.
Yes, today, if I may add, the ridges will not be working so much. They are very flat in that area, and only on the third leg there's a ridge more or less good to do, and we will see mostly high flights behind under cumulus, so no fast flying near mountains.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking forward to see this. As you can see, the weather is a bit special today. Very high developing cumuluses for the pilots. The thermals are quite good below, but they will not turn into cumulonimbus and thunderstorm. They will stay just grow a little bit, and then they will stop. The weather of the day on the left of your screen: 25 degrees, 11 for the dew point. Cloud base between 2,400 and 2,600 meters, 17 kilometers from the north, 350 degrees, 4.8 for cumulus, 2 to 4 meters per second, a little gradient of wind to allow the waves, but they are quite weak with only 25 kilometers per hour at 5,000 feet. So mainly thermals today and some ridges for the pilots. They will be able to get some more energy from the wind pushing against the ridges in the mountains. With Arne Martin Guttler, do you know him, Lorenzo?
Yes, as I know him from other races in Condor, so I know most of them, maybe all of them.
And yeah, you race quite often as well in Condor. You've done the Condor World Cup, I think, as well.
Yeah, I do only that one normally.
Okay. So yeah, you know all of those guys. It's very special. This second event, this second series of this virtual Sailplane Grand Prix, because the first one we had one pilot per country, because we didn't add any chance to do qualifications and so on. It was a bit difficult to organize that for the first one. We didn't have enough time to plan that as well and so on. But all of those pilots had to qualify through the qualifying virtual Sailplane Grand Prix, and there were between 50 pilots to 200 pilots for each virtual Sailplane Grand Prix qualifier. 9 events, and only the top 2 qualified for each event. So the level is quite high, and actually they all have a very good knowledge of how Condor works, and how you can improve as well in Condor and in glidings. They are all really good pilots, and I think it's going to be a very interesting race. And the race should start in about 3 minutes from now. 2 minutes 50 seconds, I can say. Thank you, Jean-David, who is in the background working with Timothée today. So where are we? They are on the correct side of the start, because they need on the good side of the start, in a good start area, so that we can have safe starts. Yes, there they are. And the turn point 1 is going to be on the top right of your screen, very far away from here. Very good. So we are just in between Pavullo Airport and the mountains here. It's the same start as yesterday and the day before, so that now the pilots, they know what the start does look like. They are quite aware of the rules as well, and it's going to be maximum 1,700 meters today, 1,700 meters. The start in 2 minutes. With John Churchill from the UK. So, Lorenzo, you've never flown in Pavullo, unless maybe only in virtual sometimes?
Yeah, only in virtual.
Yeah, but you've flown in virtual in Pavullo a little bit?
Yes, I know quite a bit of it. So no land outs option, so you have to stay up. And the ridges quite work, so you find better thermals on the ridge, so it's quite useful to know that.
And what would you do? So now we are 1 minute 30 seconds away from the start. What would you do if you were here, just waiting for the race to start?
I probably started to the southern point and then follow the ridges. Most of them, then think maybe move a bit north before the turn point 1, and then back to the ridges and searching the best thermal.
Yeah, I think that's a good option. And some pilots, so the wind is coming from your left now. The north is on the west side, so on this side actually, exactly. So the wind is coming from the left for Sean here. So we will probably try to get some help from the ridges that are on his right side, maybe with good thermals and so on as well. So that's interesting to follow. 30 seconds from the start now. "20 seconds from the start." They are all getting ready here. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Race is on. I see you, I think, starting first here, crossing the start line. David Redman and Thomas Meyer are going for a right option for the ridges. Very interesting. Donna Pierluigi is here in the middle with Witold Rozak, Wojtek, and Norbert. Donna Pierre is here with his French livery as well. So some pilots have a special livery, just like Donna Pierre here, so that we can really recognize them. The Polish gang, we call them like this. We have 5 pilots from Poland in this world final, and they all have the same skin. Arne Martin has his own skin from his own glider tonight. They are going for the ridges. Arne Martin turning to the right to go there. He lost a little bit of time compared to the pilots who were very close to the ridges because the line is 5 kilometers long and they can choose on which side they want to start. Some of them started close to the ridges, some in the middle and so on. Maybe they didn't know where to go first. But some pilots anticipated to go close to the ridges to get some help from the wind.
Yeah, it's very important, I think, to follow the ridges here. You get a lot of glide ratio to go, so it's better to do that, and also you can find really stronger thermal.
Indeed, and we can see
Yeah.
them actually trying to take a first one here, the first thermal. The kilometers to go to turn point 1, there are 67, almost 67 kilometers to go to Raggiolo, which is a turn point 1 for today. Kelvin Van Balen from South Africa. He did an outlanding, we believe, yesterday. And he's going in the valley, straight in the valley. He's going to take some other ridges later on. I think he's just aiming for this cumulus in front of us after this little hill. So today the weather is good, but it's a bit tricky. There is a big variation in thermals. The clouds are creating very fast and dying very fast as well. So it's really not easy for the pilots to how can I say that, to make sure that the cumulus they are going for is going to be a good one. They cannot be sure at 100%. It's always a bet for them. So it's going to be a bit tricky today, but hopefully all of them will be able to join Pavullo at the end of the day. Benfest is here in his Ventus 3 over the ridges. Lorenzo, which glider do you prefer in 18 meter? If you had to race with 48 kilos per meter square tonight, which one would you choose?
Yeah, the GS3 probably. I never
Yes.
used the Ventus 3, so I don't know that. But GS3 it goes very well also with not the full MTO, so it's good. I like it.
Exactly. What I understand from the pilots, what they told me is that the GS3 at full mass and in real life as well, it is something. At 60 kilos per meter square, it's really something. It has a lot of energy. It is very stable and so on, and a very good glider to fly. At 48 kilos, it's more or less the same with the Ventus 3 and with the GS1. So that's quite interesting. They can all choose their favorite glider here tonight. David Redman going for a GS3 as well. We have only a few pilots going for the Ventus 3 actually. Wojtek, who won yesterday, Ventus 3. And Benfest is going for the Ventus 3 as well. Only a very few ICU as well that we have on the screen. Maybe 5 pilots with the Ventus 3, 1 with the GS1, and the rest with the GS3, because I think, as you said, a lot of pilots are very used to fly the GS3 in Condor. It's a beautiful glider to fly, very stable and so on. And usually when we fly online in Condor, it's not 48 kilos and we can fly at full mass. So that's why the people tend to take it because they are really used to fly it at full mass and so on. And now they are maybe too used to fly this glider, and they cannot revert back to the Ventus 3 for those who were flying on the Ventus 3 before. So that's maybe an explanation that we have. Back on the 2D view, what do we see now, Lorenzo?
We see two groups that split it in the start. We see I think the Polish team is up north, and normally they are separated. So there's Kuba on the south and Zuk to the north, but they're on par. Maybe the group to the south is quite higher than the northern group, and we'll see more in 20 kilometers how the option will lead to. So still in process. I think it's too early to say which was the best street.
Exactly. It's very early in the race. We've had quite a nice start. Nothing too dangerous here. They all flew quite well, I believe. We've had one near miss yesterday. It was quite funny, very surprising to watch during the race between the Yarmo and Shen entering a thermal very close to the mountains. So they've had um, some comments on it in the briefing today, so they can debrief on their side that was what happened, so that we can make sure that it will not happen today between them, and hopefully not for the others as well. It's always to remember everyone that be careful, because mid-air collision can happen quite quickly in Condor as well. So you need to take care of yourself and of the others when you're flying. Jarmo Karjalainen, I believe, is on the third place overall. Jarmo from Finland, very consistent, twice on the fourth or fifth place with 8 or 9 points. So that's very good from him. Jarmo, a very good start for this for the beginning of the second FAI Virtual SGP.
Yeah, they're trying to use the reach a bit more than the others, so they're staying low and using the most of it. They still go up, maybe 10 kilometers, 15 kilometers still usable, and then they need to find a good thermal, I think. But they will do that, so
Yeah,
I don't think they have to worry that much now at the moment. So good Cumulus in front.
Yeah, it's quite good. I think there's going to be a lot of options today for the pilots. It's not like the previous day or even during the practice day for them. They were all very close and so on. Today, maybe there are going to be some gaps because the race is a little bit longer, 277 kilometers. So they can take advantage of the ridges, of the best cumuluses and so on. The choices are crucial today to take the lead, because some pilots will take the lead. I don't think we're gonna have 15 pilots ready to win at the end of the race, but maybe. You never know. In SGP, it's never done, and their level is so homogeneous. They are all so good that we might end up again with 15 gliders in 1 minute at the end of the race. It will be crazy. I'm really looking forward for the end of the race to see if, even with variable conditions, weak, very strong thermals, and so on, we can see them all at the end of the race still very close to each other. I'm really looking forward to see that.
Yeah, I think we will see a group with very packed together, so we will see very small difference in time. So let's see after. But this street, it's that one, so you don't have so much option. At the end, if they stay together at the start and don't do strange things in the flatlands, they will be more or less together at the end.
I agree with you, and yeah, as I said, I'm really looking forward to see that. We have Tim Madsen, who's won the first day here. Ben Fest, reigning world champion, who needs to defend his crown, flying just above the Apennine Mountains. And I'm saying, is it possible to download the task? I am not sure. You need to check on condor.club, but I think it's not available yet. It will probably, if it's not, it means that it will only be available, I believe, in a week time when all the races are over. Maybe we'll just launch the servers and have an open race for everyone later on, just to celebrate the end of the event. So we will have to talk about that again, but maybe we will replay the races for the ones who couldn't, who didn't qualify actually to the world final. Darius Gudžinas from Lithuania going quite low with an option, very attacking. He needs to attack because I think he's at 0 points so far overall. It was not easy the first 2 days for him, and I'm quite surprised because he was the winner of the Virtual Sailplane Grand Prix in Australia at the beginning of the year with a very good margin. He won 2 races before the end. He was already qualified, and we knew he would win. So it was absolutely impressive from him. He's flown both the real Sailplane Grand Prix in Lithuania last year to try to qualify. He ended up on the third place in the real SGP, and he flew then the virtual SGP in January this year, and qualified quite brilliantly. So I'm sure he's gonna get points. Maybe not today. Maybe we will see. Maybe today. We don't know yet. It's only the beginning of the race. He's low, but he needs to climb. Hopefully, he can achieve that. Maybe he shouldn't push too much at the beginning of this race. Yarmo with Sean Churchill. They were leading the race yesterday. They are here today as well. Stewart Henschel is here with us. David Redman, 4th place. They are on the ridges. Very good. And where is the other group who was thermaling in the valley? Do we have some news about them? Wojtek, the race 2 winner is here. Okay, so the second group, there is just a small group only on the valley with Vic Schoenemakers, Donna Pierluigi, Norbert Kiss, Arthur Duke, and Darius. The other one all went close to the ridges to get some help from 2 days wind coming from the north. Indeed, it's a very good plan, as you said previously, Lorenzo. Very good to follow those ridges so far.
Yeah, I think they will do that most of the race, and I think the position of Wojciech is really good now because you have people in front that can spot you the therma, so quite good position from the Polish team, and also the others following back. Also, we see from the north, the one that going to the flatlands are coming back, and they are quite high and quite fast, I think. So also that option was quite good, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you. It seems quite a good option. We are in live with Wojtek Soltyzik from Poland. Very low heartbeat again, 72 BPM. You can see him with his VR headset, looking left and right. Very good. We've had an interview with him that you've been able to watch at the beginning of this live streaming, and you can see on bottom right of the screen that his computer, flight computer, is a PDA or GPS. You can call them like that. And we can see that he's at almost 1500 meters with a good value of 2.8 meter per second. The last one was 2.8. 35 kilometers from turn point 1 now for Wojtek. So very good flying. We can see all his setup. Lovely. Thank you, Timothée. And very nice clouds as well from below. Very nice clouds. Been able to see. Zbisek, sorry, Kos from Poland. There we are. Lorenzo, I will let you tell us a little bit what's on the map now.
Yeah, in front there, the ridges are ending and more or less small hills, so they need to do a lot of thermas now. But seeing the values from the people circling now are quite good, so we will see very high speeds, maybe see 140 kilometers per hour in the end, 150. So they are quite low now, and we will see that they start to do some thermas. They are around the 1300 meters, so in this type of scenery, it's quite low. So
Yeah, exactly. And we can see actually that's Donna Pierluigi with the highest. The guys who took the option on the valley, they're at almost 1900 meters, so that's quite nice. And obviously on the ridges, when you have some energy, you want to push more. You want to push more, so they need to maybe just find the right spot to climb. They don't have to go too far because today's ceiling is much lower than it was yesterday, even if the thermals are good and the ridges are there. Really looking forward to see what are the speeds, average speeds today. Indeed, probably around 140 kph. We will see that in about less than 2 hours. Jarmo Kjærleinen, go Jarmo, go, is saying Janne Venå on our chat. Good luck, Arne, from James Story. And another one saying go Jarmo, go. Yanni, thank you for your support for Jarmo, the pilot from Finland, and he sent me something today from his company. His company has made a poor kind of presentation for all the employees to say that Jarmo was fighting in a world championship and that he was holding and really doing a good job, third place overall so far. So they are probably all watching from Finland now. So we are saying hi to all of them, and I would like to thank them and to thank them, their company for the support they are giving him. It's very important to see that. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, keep doing the show, Yarmo. It's great for us as well. Donna Pierre, 1800 meters. He's missed it. He's missed race 1 and race 2. He actually really missed race 1. He had a technical issue on his side, bad internet connection. But yesterday he just didn't have the good mood, and he was flying, but it was not good enough to get the points yesterday. He's made a bad decision after turn point 1, just like Vic, the pilot from the Netherlands. He's had a bad day yesterday, so today they need to get those points to go up in the ranking again.
they found a very good thermal in the front. Kelvin was the first in, and they're climbing really, really well.
You know what we've seen the past 2 days? We've seen Kelvin being quite often very close to the top contenders at the beginning of the race, and then at 2.3 or 4, he has to outland or he's missing a big thing, and then he's not leading anymore, and he ends up at the 12th position or something like this, without any points at the end of the day. He's making the show, but he didn't get any points yet, so he needs to get some reward at some point. It's the same for Stewart and Scholl, twice super close to the points, like 10th place. And yeah, it was. We were all disappointed for him yesterday and during race 1 as well, because it was super close every single time to the points, always leading, and then there's just a little bit of chance missing at the end of the race to make it to the podium or just to get the points. I hope for him that he's gonna get some points today. He really deserved it for the past 2 races. Vic Schoenemakers, he need to get points as well. He's made a very good first race. He was second on race 1, and he's got 8 points overall because of his outlanding yesterday. So he's on 5th position today overall, Vic.
We're seeing now that the first that entered the thermal are already leaving that, and probably it wasn't so strong as we were seeing here, but we see what they're find in front.
Yes, so for the publics and the people who doesn't watch our races quite often, when you see the circles here, is the thermals. That's where the pilots are climbing, and when you can see those lines that are behind the gliders to show their track, if in circles they are quite flat, it means that the thermal is not that good. But if you can see very well the circles and that it's growing very well like this, it means that the thermal is really good and they have several meters per second that they can exploit to climb and to get some good energy to continue the race. Here it was okay. They needed to get some energy, but not the best one. So they just leave and they go for the next good one, hopefully. They have three clouds in front of them, one in about 1 kilometer from now. Maybe it's going to be a good one. Otherwise, they will probably just go to the right to try the other ones and get a good one before turn point one that we can see to the left of the screen, turn point one, and then we'll go to turn point two further on the right side in the background of the screen. Lorenzo, good review for you.
Darius now has gained some altitude, so he can get back into the race. And now we see that arrow back together near the first turn point. They are more or less all at the same altitude, while the British guys and the Polish guys stayed in thermal higher than the others. So we'll see if it was a good choice. In this type of weather, Condor, it's not like the real world, so thermals are not that predictable. And maybe if you turn a thermal, so not a very good value, and in front you don't find anything, you maybe did the best choice. So we see it now, and also with the origins, yeah, you have to know that they are working. If they are not working here, you can maybe got stuck inside. And I think that keeping altitude and being safe, it's quite important now.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they should not be too low here because it's a bit tricky and there are other very good ridges later on. Maybe that's not the best ones yet. We will see. I'm looking forward to see who's gonna turn this first turn point of the task today that we have. We have Vic Schoenemakers in that climb, probably more than 2 meters per second, 2.5. Maybe we can have a cockpit view from Tim Matson later on during the stream if he's climbing, so we can have a look at what's going on in the race and so on. We have ICU going for the turn point one. He likes to be, I think, he likes to be in the highlights because we are doing highlights of the races every day and we show what's going on at each turn point. That's the barely minimum. Plus, we try to have some very interesting moments of the race so that if you miss the race, you can still understand it and see how it unfolded the day after. So you can have a look at that every day, the highlights. And yes, we are approaching turn point one now. Kelvin Van Balen from South Africa at 1,100 meters, racing at 220 kilometers per hour, is going to turn that turn point. He's going to be the first pilot to turn this point today, and we are going to go straight, almost straight to turn point two. You can see it in the background, the turn point two. Some hills, some ridges in front of us, some cumuluses, as we've said, very variable weather conditions today in Pavullo and in the Apennine Mountains. A little bit tricky for our pilots. Well done, Kelvin, for turning this point today. Stewart Henschel is second to turn this point in just a few moments, 1,300 meters, a little bit higher. And as you can see with the trace of the gliders here, it's very easy for the public to understand if Stewart is higher or lower than ICU, for example, than the previous pilots. You can really see what's going on with those visual 3D animations here. So that's quite good for the fans following us. For the people who don't know about gliding, don't hesitate to ask question. We've had Go Stewart, Go UK Gliding as well, and Go Donna Pierre in the comments as well. Benfest 1,300 meters. Well, he's going to be the second one, and Stewart third one, I believe, to turn this first turn point of the race 3 today in Pavullo.
Since that Kevin has found a thermal, we'll see if it's good or not. But I think that will probably I think Benfast is able to reach the next ridge from this altitude, and also maybe only with a small thermal.
Yes, exactly. As you can see, it's a bit tricky here because the hills are becoming a little bit higher than it was previously. So they need to climb to get safe towards the other side of those ridges and continue the flight. Uh, Very interesting. I think the ridges are quite okay. They are not the best ones here, but they are quite okay. You can use them at least to maintain your altitude today. Donna Pierluigi, close to the leading pack, so that's very good. We have 5 pilots here. Kuba from Poland joining them, and Jarmo just behind GKK. 7 pilots here who are leading the race. Maybe other pilots are behind and a little bit higher. We will have a look later on. It's pretty good thermals. And here we are. The second pack is here, and they are all gonna join the leaders. Most probably Arne Martin is turning. Maybe that's going to be interesting to follow when he tries to enter this thermal, if it's a good one. ICU and Alpha 33 have left this thermal. Same for Cuba, who is going to attack, going to turn point 2. Is left this one, is going for another one upwind. So he's going to the north side of those hills. Very interesting to watch. Benfest is there. Arne Martin coming here and is gonna join the thermal that we have in front of us. Thank you, Timothée. We are live from Arne Martin's cockpit now with his VR headset. Let's see if it's a good one. We can have a look at his PDA and the variometer, plus 4 meters per second. I've seen. Let's see if it can be stable at almost 3 meters per second. Would be nice. 2.9,
Yeah, that's
3.3,
definitely
and
good.
3.4 meters per second. Quite good. That's quite reasonable for today to stop here. That's okay. I mean, maybe there are 4 meters per second. We will see that later on, but that's quite acceptable to stop here for the pilots. It's quite safe. It's better to stop here now with 3 meters, 0.4, rather than going to try 4 meters and then just ending up very low and having only 2 meters per second. So it's a good choice for him.
Yeah, so I think that here we can see maybe two options to reach the next point. Some of them will go north of the line, and I think someone will go to the south to the big ridge that it's on the second, third leg. And if you have altitude here, you can go. If you are low, you lose options. So 3.4 meters is quite good, and I think it's best choice now to do. So we can see in front that there's a very good ridge with a good, I think seems good mountains, well aligned with the wind. So will be maybe a good choice for them.
Yes.
Also, Cuba and Duke reach will reach it without turning maybe.
So you're talking about the ones that are just a little bit on the right side of the screen,
Yeah,
correct?
I would go there. So
Yeah, I think so. When we've had a lot of discussion about today's race, how to plan it, and the task. We knew from the straight from this morning that we wanted to go in this area, but it was not easy to plan, and we changed the wind direction and so on to have something a little bit different. It was difficult to manage as well the arrival with the wind. Maybe we would have to change the full procedure for the arrival and so on. Anyway, in the end, they are just going for the same procedure. But we have a very interesting and different task than we've had the previous days today. So I think the pilots will enjoy, and hopefully you, the fans. On the chat, I see from Rianto. Thank you very much for your comment. Hey, thank you for this stream. I'm a big fan of this simulation, and it's very interesting to follow. So thank you very much for your comment. Another one, a question: are some of the pilots actually better at climbing in Condor, or pretty much all at the same level? All about path thermal selection, not technical climbing skill. So that's a very good question. For you, Lorenzo, in Condor, well, do you think that those 20 pilots have more or less the same skills, or maybe some of them are better at climbing than others? What's your thoughts about
I
this?
think that at climbing they are almost all the same, so it's different from real life from what they tell me, but I think that they are more or less all the same level here. They are the top pilots, so you can see also from other race, and they are always there. So the most of the difference here it's between the pilots, the decision making part of the flight. So which is the best street to take and how to take this particular leg. But I think they are all on par on the thermal skills.
I absolutely agree with you. And in real life, even in real life, we say, well, that, that's the French coach Eric Napoleon, who used to say at when you have 400 flight hours in gliding, it's where you are level with all the other pilots. At 400 hours, you should be able to take a climb with 40 gliders next to you without looking at the instruments. And if you can climb with the 40 pilots, you all have the same levels. When you manage this and when you know how to do this, it's around 400 hours, and yeah, then you will not improve your techniques. It's just a little bit of touches sometimes on some skills, but you cannot improve a lot your skills. Once you know how to do it, then the rest is quite easy. As you've said, it's purely decision making for the pilots. Their level is so high in the virtual SGP. Level is so homogeneous that, yeah, I think it's correct to say that.
Yeah, maybe the only technical part is using the reach. So there are some pilots that are really really good at using them. So the correct speed, when to pull, what flaps to use. There maybe someone it's better, but then the thermals are quite the same normally, except from where they are really small and you can turn them. But I think here we will see the decision making, which is the best one. We are seeing that Arne is getting to the ridge before the others. Also, it's quite low, but maybe you will get some altitude going straight, and it's better than turning at Erma. So we'll see in a few months. Also, Kevin is north, and now is less opportunities to come to the south. We'll see if he can get some thermos.
Just holding for a moment. I think that we have a guest that is going to join us in just a few seconds from now. We're gonna wait until we are fully ready in the background. But as you know, if you follow us on social medias, on Facebook, on Instagram, we've announced that Chris from the Condor team, you may know it under the name Oxo, on the forum of Condor, who is developing the game. He's going to be here in a few seconds with us, and you will be able to ask him his questions in live. Maybe we can go either back to the studio or direct in the race. Tim, you choose whatever you want to welcome Chris, and then we will ask the questions to Chris. Back in the race, Arne Martin Guttler is here with the ridges at 1200 meters. Stewart Henschel is here.
Yeah, they are climbing pretty well, so I think they made the best choice here.
I think so. I think it's quite. Those are very good ridges. We can see it's quite good ridges. We can really see all the slopes of the ridges. That's quite funny.
In a few kilometers, there will be some very good ridges with some clouds above them, and we'll see they will be starting to do some thermals or going straight to the end of the ridge.
Very good ridges, as you've said. already 220 kilometers per hour average. It's really racing here that we see. Racing from the pilots. They are going pretty fast, and I would try to be as high as I can. I think Stewart is very well placed. He can maybe go to the right afterwards to get this one. Maybe I would have tried now, but maybe that's the best option that he's taking at the moment. Very good. Trying to stay high, and then you can go just next to the top of the ridge here. It's where it's where you get the maximum amount of energy when you are very close to the top of the ridge, but just a little bit below. Just below is where you get the maximum energy from the ridge.
Yeah, also they are going pretty fast to be not at the maximum takeoff weight, so the ridge are really good, and I think that will take altitude to the next one, which is really steep.
Great. We are in the studio with Chris from Condor. Hello, Chris, tonight. Welcome. We don't have your mic yet. You need to unmute yourself, I believe. It's coming. It's coming in a few seconds, everyone, with Chris from Condor. Cannot hear you yet.
Hello.
Perfect,
Hello.
Chris. Welcome tonight with us for
Nice to
the
be here.
for the third race of this virtual Sailplane Grand Prix. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. I'm very
Great.
much happier this week because it is not so hot like last week here in France. Oh my God.
Yes, you're right. I'm pretty happy too. Much better like this with 20 degrees.
I think it was better for gliding in France last week, but
Yeah.
the weather's not so good here this week. But yeah, it's good. I'm very pleased to be here.
Great. We will go back to the race, and then we will ask you some questions. You were here 2 days, not 2 days, 2 years ago to talk about with a special announcement in 2021 during the World Final when we did the first virtual GP. No one was expecting this, and you said that you were starting with Uros and the whole team of Condor to work. You were starting to work on the Condor 3, a new version of Condor. Do you remember what you said there at that time?
I can remember some of it, but I can tell you it's quite shocking that was 2 years ago. It doesn't seem like even 1 year that we did that.
I know.
It's terrible. It's terrible. I mean, maybe I had more hair then as well. Yes. So, are you talking about the race now, or are we?
No. We continue with you until at least turn point 2 here. The pilots are on the ridges. We are following them like this, and we're just gonna ask you a question.
It's a very, very, very beautiful landscape with all these trees, isn't it? It's very, very, very nice.
Yeah, it's absolutely lovely. Italy is absolutely lovely. It looks like a bit south of France sometimes, close to Saint-Auban. You have the small hills, small ridges that you can take in your with your glider and so on. That's quite interesting for flying sailplanes in Italy. And if you go even more to the south, you have Rieti as well, which is a big club, Rieti in Italy, where they do the Rieti Cup. Very great race there. Very great event. It took place just 1 or 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe, Rieti. It was a very good event with Matthew Scudder from Australia, who's won the event. Chris, where should we start? I mean, what can we say about Condor 3? You said you don't remember exactly what you said, some part of it 2 years ago?
It's all right. I've had a think today about what I could reveal, and spoken with Joris, and he is okay that I can talk about these things, so it's okay.
Great. Well, then, Lorenzo, maybe you can start if you have a question for Chris now. We did not prepare anything. Chris, we had a meeting together last week to prepare a little bit this interview, and you just told me, just go with the questions, and I will try to just answer and say what I can say, and maybe try to avoid what I cannot say. But we will improvise.
It's okay. You can trust me not to tell you things that I don't want.
Lorenzo, first question for you.
With the maybe ask about the graphics. I love these graphics, but with the exit of the Microsoft Flight Simulator, are you interested in having more precise graphic like that one, or are you still doing the like Condor 2, so with the same level of refinement? And I love this one. It was not heavy for the computer, but I don't know if you want to
No,
move to a more.
That's a great question. There is a disadvantage compared to Microsoft, because Microsoft have Bing and they have all this access to these very high resolution textures, but also we think that for many gliding pilots in Condor, they don't all have great PCs and very strong computers, and so the live streaming of landscapes, it can be a problem for some people, we think. But nevertheless, we are very impressed with the Microsoft one. Now, let's talk of what we're doing in Condor 3. The landscape we have remade the landscape totally using photo textures. We have obtained license-free photo textures for Condor, fully legal, and the landscape is much extended. So there's all of Slovenia, of course, and then there's a large amount of Austria to the north, a very small corner of Germany, and if you imagine a rectangular landscape, this will then require a piece of Italy. So there is some of Rivoli di Ossopo and Pordenone and Monfalcone included, and we go down into the very just the northern slice of Croatia and a little bit of Hungary to the east. So the landscape is much larger than in Condor 2, with good resolution photo textures of between 1 and 2 meters, depending on which data we use, because not all countries have the same resolution. So we believe that this is going to be much better, and people who have seen it, and I know that Antoine has seen it, so we think this is much better and a good balance between very large landscapes and good performance for thing. So along with this extension to the improvement of the landscape, we are used and modified a tool which imports OpenStreetMap data for roads and buildings, and so there are huge amount of buildings now in the landscape, like some areas in Alpine Arc 2, and this is really very nice. And the tool, which actually one of the pilots here, Week Schoenmakers, has improved, does. Sorry, it's very late for me.
No worries.
Power lines and cable cars and these sorts of things. So we think it's very, very nice. We are quite happy with it. So that's where we are on the landscape. The graphic resolution of the planes, as we've improved, all the planes have been either improved or remade. Every single plane in Condor 2 has been remade for Condor 3, and with some extra features which I won't be talking about, but graphically they're much better, much nicer, and we've added one plane to the standard version of Condor. So instead of 7 gliders, there's now 8. We've added the standard class ASW 2815 into the base version of Condor 3 because the Genesis wasn't really very competitive in standard class, and so the Genesis is now being put into club class.
Great. That's a good thing to do, I believe. Yeah.
We think it's a good thing to do. Now, all of these planes, if you have them in version 2, will be automatically in version 3 for you. So you will get all of the updated planes. Whatever you have previously bought in version 2 are included in your installation of version 3 at no extra cost. So you get these extra benefits. And you don't lose things that you've already paid for.
I have one question which is interesting. I'm going to read the first part of the question and I'm going to add something. Should I buy from Muscle, should I buy Condor 2 or wait for 3 to come out? So that's the question. And I'm adding my own question. What if I buy Condor 2 today and it's coming on tomorrow, but it's not going to come out tomorrow? Okay, but is there any promotion if you buy it at the very last minute and then the next day Condor 3 is coming out? If you bought Condor 2 the day before, let's say, can you do something for that or?
Okay. Condor 3 will be released within 6 months. Okay.
That's a big announcement.
And anybody who buys Condor 2 in that period will receive a free upgrade to Condor 3.
That's great to hear. So we're going to show again later on. We've shown that yesterday without knowing this. We've shown a QR code to buy Condor because the people are looking at the races and some of them, they don't know what's the simulator to play. And we're like, okay, it's Condor. You can go and go to this QR code and buy it and so on. But we didn't really know what we could do if Condor 3 would just get out in a few weeks or month. We wouldn't know. So that's good. So you can buy Condor 2 today, and you will get Condor 3 for free, a free update in just a few months. So a big announcement from Chris tonight. Thank you very much. Another question, which is more personal for you, Chris. Are you a real glider pilot, sailplane pilot, in real life, or are you just passionate about virtual gliding and about Condor? How did it all started?
I went solo in 1976.
You have your answer, Diego.
But I don't fly in real anymore. We all know that it's very time consuming, and I have done many things. I used to be an instructor back in the early 90s, and last time I flew in real was 2006. So a year after Condor came out.
And then it was all working for Condor, almost.
Well, not really. If we're talking about me, which I don't really like to do much, but I was a user of Condor from the beginning, and I learnt to model planes. And then in I think 2009 or 2010, I made a tow plane for Euros because Gregor, who was the modeler at that time, was busy. And then Gregor moved on to other things, and I then took over as the maker of planes for many years. And then there was a lot of pressure for wanting version 2, and for a period of about 3 years, every winter, I would speak to Eurus and say, when are we going to make version 2? And in 2015, he agreed that we would start.
That's a great thing to do. Just stopping you
So version 2 took 3 years to make.
Yeah.
And now it looks like maybe version 3 will have taken 2 years, or 2 years and a little bit.
I'm stopping you for a few seconds, Chris. We are reaching turn point 2 with Vic Schoenemakers. We just talked about him a few seconds ago. And Ben Fest, Wings to Wings, going to turn point 2. And now it's the way back to Pavullo. They're turning back to Pavullo, but they will turn towards Firenze first, but going to the northwest now. 269, Donna Pierluigi from France is the third pilot today, a little bit lower. Joshua Arns, X-Ray Alpha that you see here, fourth position at turn point 2 from Germany as well. And Tim Madsen, winner of the first race of this event, is on the fifth position so far. Behind, we can see the pack, a very big pack, was climbed in a good thermal, it seems, and they're probably at around 2,300 meters there, and then they will go towards the turn point 3. Joshua Arns reaching is done that already. Is past the turn point 3, turn point 2, and is going to turn point 3 with the others using the ridges. Let's get back to you, Chris. 2 years ago, you announced that there would be some new weather features into Condor 3. Can you say some of the main improvements that you've done on the weather side?
Yes, because after that we did the work. So we now know what we have been doing. So the most obvious thing to see in the weather side now is there will be the 3 weather zones which you can use, and each of those you can set the cloud base, the thermals, all of the normal parameters that you would already have in version 2, but you have 3 copies of that. And the weather zones you will draw on your map as to where they are. And then you can tell the task and the weather managing how these weather zones move, how fast they move and which direction. And so throughout your task period, the weather will move across and change across your task. So we think that this is a very powerful thing. So you could have a nice out and return task, and you go out and it's lovely weather, and when you come back, it's all gone.
Exactly. That's going to be absolutely lovely for us.
Imagining many different scenarios of what you could do, some of which would never happen in real life, but I'm sure people will be doing this. But it looks like to be a great thing. In addition to that, the thermal code has been partially rewritten or rewritten and changed to improve the realism of thermals. We already think that we've got it pretty good, but there's a few areas where it needed to be improved in the areas of turbulence and variability, and so that has gone in. There will be representative sync between thermals, because we think this is one of the areas which is not exactly accurate in Condor 2. So those thermals, sync between thermals and extra turbulence as well.
You've answered most of the questions of the chat. Another one was, will the weather model be improved, like dynamic weather instead of static weather?
Yes.
Will we have an improved weather generator, convergence, and so on? You've answered most of that as well.
The convergence is I mean, I suppose that it would be possible to model convergence with a weather zone. I've not thought about that, but we're not. There isn't a specific convergence setting.
Setup. Yeah,
There isn't a
exactly.
specific one, but it may well be that you could use the weather zone to implement that. That's very interesting, actually. You must think about that.
I think Mark worked on it on the other forum. I think he's worked on it a little bit. But I need to check again. But I think it was there's been some stuff on that a few months ago, quite some months ago. Chris,
I know what you're referring to, but
not exactly that.
I'll talk to you about that separately.
Okay, Russell, Chris, thank you to you and to the team for all the hard work. I know people respect you. You have lives to lead as well, so yeah, be careful, don't work too much. Another one, will there be a FLARM system? If yes, will the information be accessible via an NMEA output? Thank you very much. From Patrick ADW. Can you answer that or not?
I heard what you said, but this is one of the things I'm not allowed to talk about.
Okay. Is the Condor PDA still the same in tree? From Almost Sante.
Can you say that again? I didn't get that.
Is the Condor PDA, the GPS, still the same in Condor tree?
No.
Okay.
It's more like a modern PDA that you would use. It is much improved, and it has support for AATs, as does the flight planner.
Okay. Another question regarding weather. About weather changes, will it be possible to add randomness to the changes to prevent the pilots to know how the weather will develop exactly? Not sure.
I'm sure I really understand the question.
Well, can you make that random, more or less random, into the 3 weather zones? I think that's kind of the question.
We already have this feature. You can have randomized weather, but that is no.
Yes, indeed, you can have that. I think not a lot of people are using it,
No.
but you could do that.
But if that is there already, then that is we're not taking things out.
Okay.
I think it's more a question about the competition aspect. So, like when you enter the flight, you can see how it will develop before in the briefing.
All right. Well, the answer to that would be to not let the pilots see the briefing, wouldn't it? Not let them see the task plan.
Yeah.
Not sure about that. That doesn't seem to be realistic in our goal, which is to represent the real life. In real life, the pilot can look at the weather and look at the forecast and try and understand what will happen. But with these weather zones, they're still going to be very difficult because you could have the weather zone moving quite quickly, and the pilot doesn't know what time he will arrive there necessarily, because only once he's started will he really know what cross-country speed he's achieving.
Yes, I agree with you, Chris. Yeah.
Undoubtedly, when we all switch to version 3, then there will be a big learning period for us all to find out what can be done and what effect this will have on our flying, and whether we feel it's better, or if there's any more things which we could do to improve it. But our team, we've put in the best that we can think of, and so we don't think that there's going to be a huge list of things which you could improve, but we remain open to listen, and we'll see what we can do. Version 3, following the version 3 release, there will be the same as we have done with version 2. There will be periodic updates which bring new features, and of course any fixes for any bugs which appear. And we are expecting quite a few updates in the first year, because there are a number of features that we want to put in, but we're not going to put in to begin with.
Okay, Great for this information, Chris. A lot of questions, really a lot of questions. So thank you on the chat to ask all of these questions. That's too much to
No, I'm
for
okay.
tonight.
I'm
But
okay with questions as long as the questioners don't mind that some things I won't say.
yeah,
Let me just finish off the last few things that I was planning to tell you.
okay,
So, when we release on release day of version 3, there will be, as I've already said, additional ASW28 and all of the new features which you don't know about yet. But on the same day, we are hoping to release 5 new planes for version 3. You probably know that already we've stopped development on version 2, and there won't be any more planes released for version 2. So we're aiming to release version 3 with its features, along with a mini LAC, 13.5 meters, SF28, Schreiber tandem Falk, ASG 32 MI, and the AS 33 in the 2 wingspans of 15 and 13 meters, 15 and 18 meters rather. That's what we plan to release on the first day. Obviously, those 5 extra planes will be payable. They're not included.
of course. I've seen a big smile on the face of Lorenzo when you've stated all of them. It was like, oh yes, that's good. That's good.
Which one does he like the best?
Maybe yes, 33.
Ah! we will see. Yeah, it's a very, very nice model. Even though I say so myself, I made it, but it was with assistance of Schleicher, who supplied a CAD model for us to get the shape of it exactly correct.
There have been a few questions about airspace. Do you plan to insert airspaces into Condor 3 and so on?
I'm not empowered to talk about this.
Okay.
You can draw conclusions from the fact I'm not allowed to talk about it.
Yeah. They will draw their own conclusions. I'm not into that. Something else. Well, Russell just bought Condor 2, as now we can get free update, just so you know. Another question about VR. Will there be more VR options available? I don't know if you can talk about that as well.
We want to rewrite the VR interface, but because of the amount, is this still working?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I had a progress thing appeared on the screen. We want to improve the VR, but because of all the work we've had to do on version 3, just to get it to where we are now, we don't want to delay it. And so any improvements to VR will follow in an update. There will be a VR update, but
Okay.
it won't be version 3.0.
Okay, copy. I think that does answer all of your questions about VR. Working on it, but not ready yet for version 3.0. Jarmo Karjalainen, we've seen that the 20 pilots were more or less all together in the same thermal, and they are progressing now towards term point 3. As you can see, they are just in a nutshell, in just 20 kilometers, maybe they are all here. No one has fallen behind, I believe. Do you have more questions, Lorenzo, for Chris tonight? Or Chris, do you want to add something on your list?
In the months following, as I said, there will be updates. There will also be more planes. Because this has been a long time without releasing any planes, we've still been making planes. So we have quite a number of planes ready, or almost ready for release. So there will be some new, and the some of the more interesting ones there will be Astias we will have. There will be ASK 13. The LAC 17 will come, and then we have a huge list of other planes which are not ready for talking about yet, but they're all being worked on.
Okay.
So we think that they will be releasing at least 2 planes a month for
great.
for the first 6 months after release.
Very nice.
What are you crossing your fingers for?
I'm hoping for the SZD55, the Nexus from SZD. So
SZD55.
yeah, that's the.
Yes, I know this.
Look.
There is a model which is that has been started by a guy, but he had to stop doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not being worked on at the moment, and I can't remember the state of the model, but I don't think it's very far ahead.
Okay.
But it is on the list.
And yes, a question from my team working in the backstage. Is there any improvement in Spectate, or is there anything planned for Spectate or whatever yet?
Spectate is in as it is. We would need to. We are happy with it. If you want any improvements, you have to submit request.
That's what I said.
I've not had any come in at all. So if you're not happy with it, you might want to tell us.
Yes. No, that's good. That's what I told them already. If you have a list, we've made a list some time ago, but we need to work around it much better than what it's been done yet. And yeah, I think we are all pretty happy with how it's working right now. It's quite good. Yes, I think they will just want some more stuff, but we can talk about it in a few months. There is absolutely no rush with that.
Yes, we're not in a position to take on any more tasks right now. Anyway,
yeah,
you can just imagine what it's like. The planes went to all of the base planes went into beta a week ago.
Okay.
The cockpit will be still modifiable, like in Condor 2? The instrument panel, so moving the...
Yes, it is, yeah. Okay. The same technology. Absolutely, yeah.
Good.
Perfect.
But there are new instruments.
Yes. We will see. We will see. I'm looking forward, but we will see. Chris, do you want to stay with us more longer, or do you need to go tonight?
No, I'm okay to stay for another maybe half an hour or something.
That's great.
If you wish, you can ask me questions.
Thank you. There are a lot of.
There is one thing that I've noticed, which seems like a small change in Condor 3, but I noticed of all the trees you have, and in Condor 2 you have a tree density setting which you turn down to 0. Yeah.
Yes, you can do that.
And this is not great for competition because, of course, there's an advantage if you can fly without trees on your local PC. So this has been changed in version 3. So the tree density will be fixed at max, but there is a tree visibility distance. It will be changed so it's a distance of the visibility of the trees, so that when you're flying over a mountain pass, everybody has the same number of trees in competition.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. So you can still have a maximum distance like you're displaying here, and it will look the same, but it kind of heads off one way of getting an advantage in competition.
Great.
So you're going back to commentating now.
Oh yeah.
Who's winning? Who's winning?
Who's in front? I think it's Norbert Kiss with Arthur Duke here. Wojtek Soltyzik on top of that thermal in front of us. We have Jarmo Karjalainen. That's it. Wojtek is here, and indeed Arthur Duke and Norbert Kiss from Hungary. Norbert are leading the race over the ridges. I think it's a pretty good thermal. Maybe we can have an inside view from Arne Martin Guttler if he's in that thermal. Indeed, just a little bit below, so you'll be able to see the VR view. Chris, yeah. Otherwise, on the chat, a lot of people are just thanking you, Euros, and all the team, all the Condor team for all the hard work that's been put in to work on Condor 3. Yeah, a lot of good comments. So thank you to all of you for that. Small question, but kind of a marketing question. I don't know if I will ask that. What's going to be the price? Is it going to be the same price as Condor 2?
Yes.
Maybe it's not decided. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. No change in prices at this point. We had a review of prices about a year and a half ago, I think. I can't remember exactly. And that was that is staying for the time being. So no changes in that respect. We will be changing the pricing method. The moment you know that we have a pro version where you can buy all the planes. Yeah. This has been good for some people, but there are people who buy the base Condor and then want to upgrade to Pro, and we don't have the ability to do that. So what we will probably be doing is having a discount structure for buying more than one plane at the same time, or maybe a discount for 5, a discount for 10, things like this.
Okay.
The details are not sorted out yet, and it may well be that we don't actually achieve it by release date because it's a lot of website changes and financial things, but hopefully we'll be able to do that.
Okay, yeah, that would be great, I think, for the people. So
I see in the chat somebody asked how much more powerful the GPU will be. It's actually probably not going to be that bad. I have been saying people maybe you want to increase our minimum requirements by 2 or 3 times, but we can't say yet because we need to complete our testing and see where we end up, and then we can put the information out.
Mm-hmm.
But it should not be terrible. And what I'm saying is, it's not 2 or 3 times what you have now. It's 2 or 3 times what our minimum requirements are, which are already quite low in terms of modern technology.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. That's a big advantage of Condor as well. You can play it on any computer, so it's really easy for everyone to have it. I'm not gonna ask this one. That's when
I know which one you. I don't ask that.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't have the question from the chat. It's the people working in the background who are putting me all the questions through. So I don't have because there are like 5, 6, or 7 chats, different chats, and I don't have an eye on all the chats. So they're just giving back all the questions and comments that they find, and that's it. But yeah, sometimes I just ignore because I don't want to talk about it. I know we're not gonna be able to talk about it. So yeah. Let me have a look. So Tim, can we have a 2D view of the race so that Lorenzo can give a small update of about where we are now?
Yeah, there seem more or less everyone packed together. We see in front Duke and Norbert. In the end, we see Mir. It's very low. Let's hope we can climb can climb again. And we can see some different choice in the front. We see that Duke and Norbert went straight, and then the other pack stayed and turned some turns up to 2,500 meters. And this can be a good choice here because now starts the flatlands, and the higher the better here.
Yes, I think so. The higher the better in this area. Do you like those ridges? Do you think they are good here?
Yeah, to this point they are really good, and I would have done the same. Now it starts the really flat part of the task, so maybe in this ridge you can find a better thermal. So also maybe 1 point stronger and can really change the end of the competition. So and but we see they are more or less all back together, so it will be a very very fast race to the end.
I completely agree with you, Lorenzo. Thank you for this. Tim, maybe we can zoom out just for a few seconds just to see where we are so that the public can understand that. So we are on the way back. So that's to turn point 3. Going northwest, you can see Firenze here on the south part of the task now. And then we will go north and cross the first leg to go back to Pavullo and to the reporting point that you know already, same as yesterday and the day before. Interesting comment from my team here in the background. We haven't seen that yet, but apparently Kelvin Van Balen, that we were following at the beginning of the race, who is pushing quite hard. Sometime he has outlanded, sorry, as well as Kuba, Kilo Juliet. So two pilots are out of the race already today after 2 turn points, and we are back going to turn point 3. Another question, Chris, for you. Question is a bit vague. What about force feedback? It's still in Condor, I suppose. There is no change compared to Condor 2 in that.
No change. No change needed, I think.
Yeah, I don't think so. That's why I don't know if you can explain a little bit more the question. Another one is, can task setters use fit for North Americans? But I think that's already implemented, right?
I
Or
think
not?
it's not implemented in Condor 2. I don't think so. I have seen that it's on a list of feature requests. I don't know if it's been done, but I believe that it's intended that we're doing this.
So it's in knots only
It's,
so far. I mean, because
don't know. It's in the superposition of knowing and not knowing.
okay, because David Redman, he told us that it's not flying with the meter per second, and he's flying not with the European but imperial values, I think.
All right.
That's what he told. So I think it was already implemented.
No, he doesn't mean in the cockpit. What he means in the task planner.
Okay. Oh yeah, indeed.
When
Yeah,
you
can
set
test. Yeah.
the things in the task planner. I think that
Okay.
that's only in. I think that's the question.
Oh, indeed.
Yeah,
Indeed,
it's
you're right.
only meter if this task setter has done it in meters.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, indeed. So that's a very good question. Yeah, I never thought about that actually. So because in world championships and so on, it's always in kilometers, always in meters
Yeah.
and so on.
Yeah.
Even in Australia, it's going to be in kilometers, or in the US, it's in kilometers. That's the official um,
Yeah.
value that everyone uses. But then only in American countries or English speaking countries, they use knots instead of meters per seconds, or instead of kilometers, and that's it.
Or
That's the
miles
main
per hour.
change. Yeah, almost there. You know that much better than me, Chris. I think, but yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah. It's okay. There's a guy on the chat. I don't have a chat login, so I don't want one. He says, will there a summary of items talk about going to condorsoaring.com? And I'm not going to put a summary of these items on there. But if somebody else wants to do this, they can do it.
Yeah, that's the people watching that have to do it. They have to do it. Yeah. Following the race to turn point 3 with some variable conditions today. A lot of cumuluses, but only a few of them are very good today. Stewart Henshaw from the UK still in the leading pack.
How many kilometers to go are there?
So distance flown 190 kilometers. We can see that just next to me, and it's 277 kilometers.
Oh,
So
right.
87 to go.
80 to go. We see the start of the final glide from the tower point 3, I think. So with the iCloud base, they can get the final glide from here, from the point. So we see very long final glides, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will see about the final glide here. It's we've had a very nice final glide from Wojtek yesterday, who won the race, but he's had a lot of energy. He was just waiting for the right time to jump towards the first place and to grab that place on the finish line. But usually they are only like 40 kilometers long. It's a bit difficult for them to do a long glide because they always push at 220 kilometers per hour, so they just go down very quickly, much quicker than what usually people would do in real life, in my opinion. But yeah, they are always pushing quite a lot, the pilot. But I think it's the way to fly in Condor 2 as well, to get the maximum speed. It's the way it works, and it works well for all of them. Stewart and Scholl joining this pack. Will he take the thermal or continue? I think he will continue. No, stopping in the end. No, continue. Let's wait a few seconds. Turning left. Okay, he will try. He's trying to get in there. It looks like a good one. Maybe not the best one of the day, but quite a good one. James Story, is there any plan to improve the training lessons in Condor 3? Yeah, is preferred the lessons in Microsoft Flight Sim, so you need to improve. I would like to see a lesson on how to fly race tasks. So that's kind of our job, but I would like it to be implemented in Condor 3 as well.
The lessons will be remade for Condor 3 because of the way the code works. They have to be. In the longer term, I have a wish to make lessons in a different way. But let's see what people think when we finish with version 3.
That would be very interesting. I'm really looking forward to see the lessons in Condor 3. I think it's very, very important for the development of gliding worldwide, especially now that we are working with FAI virtual gliding. We try to have the support from all countries and from the politicians around the world, or from IGC and all the delegates, and they talk about virtual gliding in their countries, even if there are no gliding clubs or only a very few people interested in gliding yet. But that's kind of the aim, the aim with FAI virtual gliding, to grab some more audience and to get some new people into the sport, and especially in countries where gliding is not accessible at all. We've had 2 years ago, if you all remember, a guy from Turkey, Halil Koroglu, who never flew a glider, and he was somewhere in the middle of Turkey. There was no gliding spot or whatsoever, so he could only fly with Condor. So he flew on Condor 2. He only flew for like 1 year or two before the world final. He was pretty good. He scored some points. Very impressive flying. Very young guy. And now this guy is in Germany, and he will try to get his license and to get an instructor license to then get back to Turkey to teach young other pilots, other people to become glider pilots. So it's very interesting for us to have this kind of people joining the sport via virtual gliding. A very good view with the leading pack, Wojtek, the winner from yesterday, with Sean Churchill, Zbisset Kos. We have Arthur Duke and Norbert Kiss. Mihaly Knos, KMI, is just behind. Watching the results now, the total one, Norbert Kiss didn't score any points yet, and Mialik Nose didn't score any point yet among those guys. Arthur Duke only 2 points. Bisech he's got 8 points. He's had quite some good races so far. So yeah, probably Miali and Norbert want to score some points today to get back in the race. But they are quite close. Huh? You remember Lorenzo at the beginning of the race? I was like, with the tricky conditions, I'm sure there's going to be some gaps in between the pilots, and they will not arrive probably all together at the end of the race. And we are 80 kilometers away from the finish line, and there are still 10 pilots almost all together, probably 5 just behind. It's crazy. They all have more or less the same level in this world final, so it's crazy to witness. There is a small circuit, race circuit, just done here. Oop. A little bit further away. That's great.
That's Mugello, isn't it?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. I wanted to check, but Lorenzo will have a look.
Yes, I'm watching it on the Google Maps.
This is Mugello.
Yeah, it's Mugello. It's Mugello. I'm not a big fan of Formula One and MotoGP, so I don't know that much.
I've been to Mugello.
But that's so. Chris, now, do you want to explain your former life to the people watching, or is it still personal?
Not really, but I'll just say briefly that I was an electronics engineer in Formula One for FAI Honda. So I've been to Mugello testing. Yes.
That's why you recognized it quite well. That's amazing. Yeah, and there was a pretty nice race in the Netherlands a few days ago. It was quite interesting to watch. I like Formula One a lot. I usually talk about Formula One when talking about SGP. The first race was like Formula One. The second one was like a sailing race that we had yesterday. It was quite different because very windy yesterday, so not the same tactics to apply and so on. Very interesting race. The highlights are still available for yesterday's race. We're gonna focus on that turn point, and then we're gonna talk a little bit about Thrustmaster, because they are our partners now for this event and for the following events that will come. World Series at the end of the year, and next year there is a giveaway. We'll talk about that in a few minutes from now. The leading pack with Arthur Duke, Sean Churchill, Fochtek, Soltizik, Norbert Kiss. They are all here, ready to turn point 3, 190 kph at 1,900 meters.
Yeah, it seems that Wojciech has the upper end here. If they don't make mistake, he will finish first, I think.
Yeah, yesterday it was very interesting. He was a little bit behind the pack, and he just stayed there for the last moments of the race, just waiting for the right time to jump on that finish line. It was a really good tactic to follow, and he's won one qualifying virtual Sailplane Grand Prix with a good lead, and he's really a top contender for this year's final. It's impressive to watch him. Wojtek. So Wojtek turning now the turn point 3, very close to Firenze, with Arthur Tuke below, Sean Churchill, Norbert Kiss. Well done.
He's using probably the same tactic from yesterday, so
That's Wojciech, Wojtek that we've seen a few seconds ago in his glider, turning the points, watching at other pilots below. Still very calm. And you can see, yeah, he's much higher than the others, and most of the pilots are behind him, so he's really well placed. Maybe he can take. He just has to take 1 or 2 thermals, and he will get back home safely. Just pulling 1-2 meters per second, and pushing back to get the speed to 200 kilometers per hour. good racing. He's flying with a force feedback joystick that we all know in Condor for the top Condor pilots. Almost everyone has this one, and with a Thrustmaster throttle as well, Wojtek. And there's someone coming in. I think. Let's get back to the race team. 3D view. Witold Rozak behind with Stewart and Scholl, Tim Madsen, and Eric Schoenemakers. And Vic, yeah, really needed to get back in the race. He did an outlanding yesterday. It was not a good day for him yesterday. Arne Martin climbing with KMI, Mialik Nos in that one. Very good thermal on turn point 3. Let's have a look. Yeah,
Seems
go
a
for
good
it.
thermal, that one. Maybe if the guys in the front will not find some good values, will be a nice move. In the moment, Vic is still way higher. And, I think we will use his teammates from Poland to find the better thermal and then climb faster.
I think that's the plan. I would just slow down a little bit if I was Wojtek. Just slow down and wait for the guys below to take the thermal. Just stay on top of on top of them. He just needs to do that now, I believe, to win the race. To really chill and look at all the options. Try to take the best decisions. Only 2 or 3 decisions to take, and he can do that pretty well. I have a question for you, Chris. Well, maybe it was more of a comment. I don't know if you've seen it already. I want to ask how you feel about the growth of of Condor throughout history, and now that it is adopted by the FAI. How does you feel about it?
Well, yeah, of course, we're completely happy, very delighted, and feel quite honoured that that we are viewed in this way, and we feel great responsibility to keep it going and keep it improving and getting closer and closer to real life. I can see the question in Twitch there. What we especially like is the fact that we've had this online community since 2005, which is 18 years now, and it's always been a good group of people, friendly and helpful, and there have been no real wars, and so it's really great because over this period of time the people have changed. Not many of the original people are still here, but the new ones come along, and everybody gets along, and it's really inspiring for us. It's very difficult to keep a single product going for a very long time with updates and things like this, and the community makes it easy for us.
I agree with you, Chris. There is a very good community around Condor. That's something a little bit weird on my end sometimes that I see when I represent the FAI and virtual gliding on several forums and so on. It's a bit disappointing for me when I see the people for flights coming from flight sim just ignoring what's being done on Condor or trying to get someone against, well, everyone against each other and trying to compare all the sims and say, yeah, this one is good in that. And I think all sims can work together, and I think that they are pushing themselves together as well to produce the very best of what they can do. And I think everyone will be pretty happy with the release of Flight Sim 2024, but as well with the release of Condor 3. I think it's going to be a major thing for all of us in virtual gliding, the release of Condor 3, because people are waiting for new improvements, and I think they are going to be all fulfilled. What the people have been asking for so long. We're going to have a very, very interesting moment, I think, when it's going to be released, and everyone is going to be so much pleased. And I hope it's going to reinforce all the communities, instead of just saying, oh, this is good, this is not good, you shouldn't do that, and so on. No, Condor is the tool for now. There is nothing similar. We cannot fly on something else, and I'm not sure there will be another tool, because they are developing very well. Condor is developing very well along the years, as you've said. Yeah, it's a long history already in Condor, and they are developing very well, very fast, and they are improving a lot every simulators that they make. So I think everyone is really looking forward to those 6 months, and to see when it's going to be released, and what we're going to have later. So yeah, I'm just hoping that all the communities will join, and some new pilots, even from flight sim, will come and try Condor 3, because I think it's gonna worth it. If you don't like Condor 2, you're gonna like Condor 3, guys. If it's you will see, it's gonna be so much amazing. I'm really looking forward for this. So just keep following us, keep following the races with us, and the live streaming and so on, and we're gonna progressively merge to Condor 3, and I'm sure you're all gonna be very enthusiastic about it. Timothée, maybe it's time to go to Trustmaster and to a QR code to buy Condor for the people who are interested. Obviously in Condor, because we are talking about Condor with Chris from the Condor team tonight. Indeed, I'm saying team and team, so it's a bit weird for me. I have team working in the background and team from the Condor team. it's a bit special. Thank you. So we have a giveaway prize that's going on today and until the end of this week on Facebook and Instagram. You can go on Facebook and Instagram. Our accounts are just written below, FAI Virtual Gliding. It's very easy. It's the same name everywhere. And you can try to win two OTAS T16000M from Trustmaster. That's a joystick plus a throttle. The throttle that Wojtek, winner of yesterday, is using, by the way. Very good to do the air brakes, and you have some stuff to use for the flaps as well. Very precise joysticks that you can have, and it's for free. You just need to participate to this free giveaway stuff, and you can get two OTAS packs just for you. There is a promo code if you don't get the OTAS and you still want to buy something. If you want to start virtual gliding, you can start as from 50 euros with those 15% off. The code is FAI15. So it's very easy to remember, and you have the QR code just there on the left side of the screen. And you have the QR code to buy Condor. So for Condor 2, if you buy Condor 2 today, you're going to get Condor 3 for free in 6 months or less than 6 months. We will see, but within 6 months, you're going to get Condor 3 for free if you buy Condor 2 here today with us. Deadline for the giveaway is on Saturday. We will announce the winners with the guys from Trustmaster. We will be there at the final race of this virtual Sailplane Grand Prix. Join us. Do not hesitate to start your gliding journey with Condor. Let's go back to the race with Chris and Lorenzo. Arne Martin. Yeah, go for it.
Now the race is divided in two groups. There's a group in front that we are seeing now with Sol and Sean from English FAI. And then from the back are coming Ben Fest. And to the south, there is Tim Madsen and Jarmo. They are climbing really well. They are quite high. I think the best choice to instead of the front group. They are found a very, very good thermal. They are very high. And we will see a very fast finish between them. Probably the podium will be between Wojciech and maybe his teammate from Poland and Sean from United Kingdom.
Yes, I agree with you. I think we are approaching Pavullo now. Only probably 50 or 60 kilometers to reach Pavullo, and indeed TKM and Jarmo are quite high at 2,500 meters, but they are a little bit too much behind compared to the leading pack here. and they have a good advantage here at the front of the race. Really looking forward to see the last few kilometers. I was not expecting such a race. They are all together still with those variable conditions, so that's very impressive. Well, we've lost 2 pilots, 2 outlandings with Kelvin Van Balen, ICU, from South Africa, and with Kuba, another Polish pilot, one of the 5 pilots from Poland, from the Polish gang. So, yeah, let's see if all of those pilots that are still in the race can make it home to Pavullo. I think that's going to be okay for all of them, but who's going to cross the finish line first is yet to be known. Vic Schoenemakers is at the back of this leading pack with Witold Rozak, the vice world champion from the first virtual SGP. Mialik knows.
They are now on the final glide, so we see a very, very fast till the end.
Maybe we can confirm that final glide with the inside video from Wojtek, because we can see his computer, his flight computer, and probably we can have the Mac ready from Wojtek in just a few seconds to confirm that they are on final glide or not. But I think indeed they are very close to be on final glide.
I think they have less than 30. Yes, they are on final glide.
Yeah, yes. So it's written +2 here, so that means it's 2 turn points later. It's not the next one. So that's the finish line in 50 kilometers from now, and is more than on profile. It's 2.7 on the McCready, and yeah, it's probably at 3.5 at least on profile. So, and they need to be, but they need to be at 850 meters, and that's not taken into account in that flight computer. So they need to fly a little bit slower than what they would do usually.
You can look at the delta altitude to the ground, so you have that 200 meters more, and I think now they have a more or less 30 of glider ratio requested to the end, so they would be very, very fast.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if he's using maybe XISO or LK8000.
I think so. I think that's Tim Madsen, who is very used to fly, and I think he's using something like XSOR indeed.
Yeah, it's very helpful.
Going to that turn point, yeah, we can see that he is quite behind. He's high, but he's quite behind. He can see the turn point in front of him. That was a question some time ago at the beginning of the chat. They can see the turn point 29 kilometers away. Why? Because at 29 they can see the actual turn point, but they cannot see the yellow lines that you can see on your screen. It's just a limitation from our side. And we can have them on the spectate side, so for the live streaming, but they cannot see those lines. They can just see the turn points, so they are sure they do not miss it, because on PDA you can miss it and so on. And compared to the real life, we are doing a scoring using Condor Club, and they need to cross those turn points, otherwise we cannot score them at all. We cannot apply penalty or whatsoever. They need to be scored, so they need to cross those turn points. So that's why they can see the turn points to make sure that they cross the turn points when they go there. Very easy in Condor compared to real life. The simulator is taking a fix every 100 of a millisecond, something like this. Every 100 milliseconds. Sorry. So it's very easy to have a lot of fixes, and we are sure that if they go through it, they will make it. We've had one issue, but the guys flew just next to it. He thought that he was going into the thermal, but he didn't take. It didn't work on the FTR file. It was very interesting to solve for Thierry, who was working in Condor Club. Anyway, back to the race. Witold Rozak is here, 1,900 meters, 220 kph. He's a little bit behind those guys. He's looking for just a few points, but certainly not for the win. In front, we have Bissech and Sean Churchill with Norbert Kiss. That's going to be very fast. After turn point 5, it's turn point 6, which is the reporting point. And then there are only 6 kilometers between the reporting point and the finish line. So that's going to be very, very fast from now on. They will probably reach Pavullo in about 10 minutes from now, even maybe less.
So not all of these pilots here will take points because there are more than 10 pilots in this group.
Yeah.
And they're more or less 1 kilometers from each other, so they're really, really close and fast.
So in that among those 10 guys, I have Bisech Tkos leading, then Sean Churchill, Norbert Kiss, Wojtek Soltyzik, Arthur Duke, Mialik Nos, Stewart Henschel, Arne Martin Guttler, Witold Rozak, and Vic Schoenemakers. And then behind you have a second group with Jarmo Karjalainen, Tim Kilstrup Madsen, Joshua Arntz, Ben Fest, Donna Pierluigi, David Redman, and Darius Gudjunas. Two groups, one big leading group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, indeed. Vic Schoenemakers is on the 10th place for now, so difficult. Go Polish Gang on the Twitch channel. Some comments.
Yeah, the Polish are the fastest always, also in the other counter competition. And they're really strong, and sometimes they fly together, and they're even stronger in that occasions.
I wouldn't say sometimes. I would say they often they quite often fly together. They are really a gang. Yeah? Witold has done a tremendous work to make the whole Polish community fly together and so on. And they have really good pilots, just as in real life. It's very good to witness, honestly, from our side to watch all those guys. Bisech, of course, is reaching turn point 5 before going to the reporting point Mirage in front of us. We have Norbert Kiss on third place here. Sean Churchill is just in front of him on the left of your screen. And then after this reporting point, it's going to be a sharp turn towards Pavullo to cross the finish line at 850 meters minimum. Wojtek is here, 220 kph. Arthur Duke behind and below. Mialik Nos should overtake Arthur without any problem. That's going to be very interesting, that final glide with Wojtek, a little bit higher than Norbert and Sean, who are in front. He will need to push. Stewart and Schall crossing the turn point 5 towards the reporting point now. Arne Martin Guttler, 1,600 meters. He can overtake Alpha 33. So he's in a good position for the 5th place, at least, I would say. He should overtake as well KMI here. He's going for it. Witold Rozak a little bit behind and a little bit lower, 240 kph. He's pushing. He has a lot of energy.
Yeah, the race will probably be decided at the reporting tower point. The one that turns better here will take the advantage.
One very good comment from James on the chat. I like Arne Martin. I think he's playing high and smart, especially on a race that can quickly drop you down onto the ridges and into the sink. He's high now, and he can surely take some good punts today, Arne. The Polishman leading the race so far, about to reach the reporting point, is Bisek Kos. Sean Churchill just behind him, very good. They are going fast. And they will have some downwind today, going to the airfield, and they will have to land in the opposite direction compared to the arrival. So they will have to brake left when reaching the airfield, and then rejoin a right-hand circuit for the runway 02 facing north today. Congratulations, Bisektos from Poland, reaching the reporting point first today for race 3 of this second FAI Virtual Sailplane Grand Prix in his GS3. The Polishman, great race from him, followed by by Sean Churchill from the UK, who is at the same level, same altitude, same speed for Sean. That's a sharp turn. I would probably pull a little bit before turning because they are losing quite some energy. Wojtek is turning. He's done it. Okay, pushing for the third place. Wojtek is probably going to take the overall lead after this one. Arne Martin is here. Arthur Duke, Mialik Nos. All of them, the three of them are ready to get some points today. Sean Churchill probably second. And Zbisek Kos from Poland is going to be the winner of the day. Sean is pushing 260 kilometers per hour. He's going to try to overtake him from below, but it's going to be difficult. Yeah, he has some more energy. There are 25 kilometers of difference. Maybe Sean is going to be able to do it. Norbert Kiss is pushing.
I think that at the end they will be at the same points for the
Let's have a
competition.
look behind. I'm afraid that Sean is going to be too short for Sean Churchill. Bisset Kos, winner of the day of race 3, followed by Sean Churchill, second, Norbert Kiss on third place. And we have Wojtek, fourth place. The winner of yesterday's race is fourth and is getting some very good points, probably the leader of this FAI Virtual Sailplane Grand Prix after race 3. Wojtek, congratulations. Arne Martin is here to score some more points. Mialik Nos gets some points today for the first time. Well done, Miali. Arthur Duke gets some more points, and Witold Rosax is here to take the last one, most probably. And Vic Schoenemakers is going to be on the 10th position tonight, I believe. And it's going to be too short for him. There is Stewart Henschel, so he's still fighting to get 1 point. Maybe that's going to be Stewart who's going to get that, unless he's got a penalty. No, he's going to pull R to get to 850. Yeah, obviously. And it's going to be good for him. They push pretty hard. They know they can do that with the rules that we have adapted. Well done to the first 10 pilots that we have in front of us. Very good. So Bisek, with the winner of the day, needs to come on the other side, maybe just doing some circles to celebrate the win tonight. Congratulations for this amazing race tonight that we've had in Pavullo. And now the first pilots are landing into Pavullo airfield, landing facing north towards the city. A very good racing. So in the end, I was all wrong, Lorenzo. There was a very big group of pilots who could have taken that first place, and it was the Polishman who took it tonight.
Yes, I think also that Zver has taken the lead in the overall competition.
Great.
With 18 points, I think, and very good race and very fast.
Indeed, you're right. I forgot he had 3 points already. That's quite good. That's quite good from Bisek. So first place overall tonight, and we should have Wojtek just a few points behind. Very good. Thank you very much, Chris, for joining us tonight.
Just to say quickly that if people have some very small questions, I'm in the chat stream on the YouTube live channel. So I'll be there for another 10 minutes if people have any minor questions.
Okay, that's perfect.
Thank you for the time and the opportunity to talk to everybody. I think I've answered every single question.
Thank you, Chris.
I didn't.
we will leave you here, Chris, and we will continue for 5 more minutes with Lorenzo watching the landings and so on, and the last pilots to arrive tonight for the viewers. So you can leave us here, and we wish you a very good night. Thank you for joining us, Chris, tonight.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and
Appreciate it.
I'll talk to you sometime later, Antoine.
I'm sure about it.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris. To the race, well, to the landings, I should say. We will close the live in about 5 minutes, just watching together and review what happened during the race. We were all very busy tonight. A pretty fast race in the end. I was not expecting such a fast race. What are the main points tonight? To say, Lorenzo, what do you remember from this night?
I think that the one that risked the less in the first and second leg as won the race. So the one in front that went very fast got low and then couldn't get higher. But the others one that were a bit behind stay high and went ahead then. And I think it was the best just to do. So very good race. I think now we're arriving in Benfest and Josh.
Yes, indeed, Benfest and Josh are joining the final stages of the race, and they have turned now the reporting point, and they will cross the finish line in just a few seconds from now. Benfest and Joshua, you can see Tim Madsen behind. Yes, he's done it. Joshua is in the background there, going to the finish line. Tim Madsen going to land, and today race winner is Spisek Kos from Poland. Very well done, and is taking the lead of the overall results as well. Congratulations to you. Another Polish pilot leading and winning the race tonight. Joshua Arndt just arrived here in Pavullo, but he didn't make it into the ninth first place. He didn't get any points tonight. Same for Benfest, already deballasting his glider, because no points today, unfortunately for Ben, the reigning world champion. Ben lost a lot of points on the first race because he's had a very big penalty, actually. So yeah, he needs to do some better flights to win some races to get back in the overall results, and to be able to defend this crown. David Redman, he won the practice day. Very good flying on that day, and he's missed some opportunities the past few days. He was always there, always in a good position, and sometimes he just dropped down for a few meters, and then it was lost, and the pilots in front were just going too fast. Same for Donna Pierluigi. We've seen him quite often in 2021. He ended up on the 4th place on the world final in 2021, and still no points for Donapierre. He had an issue on race 1 on his side, taking technical issue. Yesterday, he's been stuck after turn point 1. He lost a lot of time, but he completed the race. No points, and today it's the same. I think he's pushing too much, maybe sometimes. He was leading the race more or less. It was among the first 3 pilots at turn point 2, if I remember correctly. So yeah, he needs to improve. Donapierre, he's done a lot of flying this year in real life, but probably not enough in virtual, and that might be the case, the issue for Donapierre, and not enough training for tonight. Thank you, Frank. Yemstra, huge compliments in the way you're commenting on this competition. This is awesome to follow. Thank you very much. We all appreciate it, and we try to do our best to deliver the best comment and try to explain the race, and to explain as well to the beginners how gliders fly and so on. We do apologize for accents from France, from Italy, for Lorenzo. We don't have. I wish I had a perfect British accent to explain the races, but that's not the case yet. Maybe one day, but I adopt it. We're just doing our best, and yeah, just looking forward. We will see who's gonna be there tomorrow. Maybe Lorenzo you will be there, or it will be Jean-David or Norman Shindowski, an American guy who used to command the races with us. The very good thing with Norman is that he was coming from the sailing world. He didn't know anything about gliding, or not a lot when he joined the community here. He discovered Condor and so on, and now he's bought a real glider and he's flying in America with his own glider and so on, and it's absolutely amazing. We have Darius Gudjonas from Lithuania, who's dropped down a lot during that race and with behind, and yeah, the sky looks good. The sky looks good. He can make it. That's for sure. A very good thermal. That's the last one for him. He's only a few kilometers away from Pavullo. I think we can go back to Pavullo, Timothée, to end that race. He was so far away actually that the just to explain you the techniques behind, the computer had to reload all the landscape because he was a little bit too much behind compared to the other pilots where we were a few minutes ago. So that's the reason why you've had that screen. Back in the studio. Tomorrow is another day. We've had a great race today. Hopefully there is a flight tomorrow, a real race in the Sailplane Grand Prix. They've had 3 cancelled days during the Sailplane Grand Prix. Races, too much wind, rain and rain again. So not easy for the real pilots there. We are saying hi to everyone there, to the SGP team, to all the pilots, to the Italian organizer who are super cool and who are doing a great job. Lorenzo, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It was your first time commenting a virtual race with us, so thank you very much. Appreciate it, and appreciate your Italian comments to tell us more about your country and about the place here in Pavullo. Thank you so much, Lorenzo.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Well, see you all tomorrow at 18:00 UTC or 20:00 local time in Italy or in Central Europe. Thank you very much all, and have a good night or a good day wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. See ya.